Have you ever wondered why, despite drinking milk every day for bone health, you're still experiencing joint pain, brittle bones, or that nagging feeling that your body isn't as strong as it used to be? What if I told you that the very milk you're drinking, the one you've been told is good for your bones, might actually be working against you? This isn't just speculation. According to a groundbreaking study published in the British Medical Journal, certain types of milk consumed regularly by seniors can increase the risk of bone fractures by up to 32%. Yes, you heard that right. The milk that's supposed to protect your bones might be slowly destroying them. But here's what's even more shocking. 3 specific types of milk that are commonly found in most senior households are not just failing to strengthen your bones, they're actively leaching calcium from your body, disrupting your hormone balance, and accelerating the aging process in ways that could be shortening your lifespan. The scariest part? You probably have at least one of these bone-destroying milk types in your refrigerator right now. You might be pouring it over your cereal every morning, adding it to your coffee, or drinking it before bed, thinking you're doing something good for your health. But with every sip, you could be undermining decades of effort to stay healthy and independent. You see, as we age, our bodies change dramatically. The digestive system that could handle anything in your 20s now struggles with foods that used to nourish you. The metabolism that kept you slim and energetic has slowed down. And most importantly, your body's ability to absorb and utilize nutrients, especially calcium, has become far more delicate and complex. This is where the milk industry has failed seniors. They've continued to market the same products to everyone, regardless of age. Without considering how an aging body processes these foods differently, they've added chemicals, preservatives, and processing methods that might be fine for a 25-year-old, but can be devastating for someone over 60. Today, I'm going to reveal the 3 most dangerous types of milk that any senior should avoid if they want to maintain strong bones, healthy joints, and vibrant longevity. More importantly, I'll show you exactly what to replace them with. Alternatives that will actually strengthen your bones, improve your energy levels, and support your body's natural healing processes. But I need you to stay with me until the end, because the 3rd type of milk I'm going to discuss is probably the most surprising. It's marketed as healthy and natural, but it contains a hidden ingredient that's been linked to accelerated bone loss and cognitive decline in seniors. You won't believe what it is. If you're serious about protecting your independence, maintaining your strength, and ensuring you can enjoy your golden years without the fear of fractures or bone disease, then every word of this video could be life-changing. Your future self will thank you for watching this. Before we dive into these bone-destroying milk types, I want to know you're with me on this journey to better health. If this information is resonating with you so far, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're building a community of seniors who refuse to accept that aging means becoming weak and dependent. And here's something I'd love to know. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you noticed any changes in your bone health or joint comfort since turning 60? Your experiences matter, and they help other viewers realize they're not alone in this struggle. If you're watching this video right now and you're committed to taking control of your health, type strong bones in the comments. Let's see how many of us are ready to make this change together. Now, let's get into the first milk type that's silently sabotaging your bone health. Dangerous milk type 1, flavored milk, the sugar trap that's stealing your calcium. Walk into any grocery store and you'll see them lined up like colorful soldiers. Chocolate milk, strawberry milk, vanilla milk. They look innocent, even nostalgic. They remind you of childhood treats. But for seniors, these flavored milks are like wolves in sheep's clothing. Here's what the milk companies don't want you to know. A single 8-ounce glass of chocolate milk contains between 20 to 25 grams of added sugar. That's more sugar than a can of soda. But unlike soda, you're drinking this thinking it's healthy because it has the word milk on the label. Now, why is this sugar content so devastating for senior bone health? Let me explain what happens inside your body when you drink that seemingly innocent glass of chocolate milk. The moment that sugar hits your bloodstream, your body goes into emergency mode. Your blood sugar spikes rapidly, and your pancreas has to pump out massive amounts of insulin to deal with it. But here's the cruel twist. As we age, our insulin sensitivity decreases. This means your body has to work even harder to process that sugar, creating a state of chronic inflammation throughout your system. This inflammation doesn't just make you feel tired and achy, it actively interferes with your body's ability to absorb calcium. Even worse, the high sugar content actually causes your kidneys to excrete more calcium through your urine. So while you think you're getting calcium from the milk, the sugar is forcing your body to waste the very mineral you're trying to consume. But it gets worse. The inflammatory response triggered by these sugar spikes affects something called osteoblasts, the cells responsible for building new bone tissue. When these cells are constantly under inflammatory stress, they can't do their job properly. Meanwhile, the cells that break down bone tissue, called osteoclasts, become hyperactive. It's like having a construction crew that can barely work while the demolition crew is working overtime. I had a patient, Margaret, who came to me wondering why her bone density tests kept getting worse despite drinking chocolate milk every day for 2 years. She thought she was being health conscious by choosing milk over soda. When we eliminated flavored milk from her diet and replaced it with unsweetened alternatives, her next bone density test showed improvement for the first time in years. The artificial flavors and colors in these milks add another layer of toxicity. Red dye 40, yellow 6, and other synthetic colorings have been linked to increased inflammation and may interfere with nutrient absorption in aging digestive systems. Dangerous milk. Type 2, low-fat and skim milk, the nutrient stripper that blocks calcium absorption. This might shock you, but low-fat and skim milk, the types most doctors recommend for seniors, could be one of the worst things you can drink for your bones. I know this goes against everything you've been told, but hear me out. When milk is processed to remove fat, something crucial happens that the dairy industry rarely talks about. Fat-soluble vitamins, specifically vitamins A, D, E, and K2, are stripped away along with the fat. These vitamins aren't just nice-to-have nutrients. They're absolutely essential for calcium absorption and bone formation. Vitamin D, which you've probably heard about, is just the beginning. Without adequate vitamin K2, calcium can't find its way to your bones. Instead, it ends up depositing in your arteries, contributing to heart disease, the leading cause of death in seniors. It's like having a delivery truck full of calcium driving around your body with no GPS to find the right destination. But here's where it gets even more concerning for seniors. To make skim milk taste better after removing all that natural fat, manufacturers often add milk proteins in concentrated forms and sometimes even add synthetic vitamins back in. These synthetic vitamins are poorly absorbed compared to their natural counterparts, especially in aging digestive systems. The processing required to create skim milk also involves high heat treatment, which damages the protein structure. For seniors who already have decreased stomach acid production, a natural part of aging, these damaged proteins become even harder to digest and can actually trigger inflammatory responses in sensitive individuals. There's also the blood sugar issue. When you remove the fat from milk, you're left with a higher concentration of lactose, milk sugar. Without fat to slow down absorption, this lactose hits your bloodstream faster, causing the same inflammatory cascade we discussed with flavored milk, just to a lesser degree. Dr. Walter Willett from Harvard School of Public Health published research showing that countries with the highest consumption of low-fat dairy actually had higher rates of osteoporosis and hip fractures among seniors. This paradox stumped researchers for years until they understood the crucial role of fat-soluble vitamins in bone health. Dangerous milk. Type 3. Ultra-processed plant milk. The chemical cocktail, masquerading as health. Now, this one might surprise you. Many seniors have switched to plant-based milks, thinking they're making a healthier choice. And while some plant milks can be beneficial, the ultra-processed versions found in most grocery stores are actually creating a perfect storm of problems for aging bones. Let me paint you a picture of what's really in that carton of commercial almond, oat, or soy milk. First, there's carrageenan, a seaweed extract used as a thickener. Studies have shown that carrageenan can trigger inflammatory responses in the digestive tract, particularly in people over 60 whose gut lining has become more permeable with age. This inflammation doesn't stay in your gut, it spreads throughout your body, affecting your joints and bones. Then there's the guar gum, locust bean gum, and gellan gum, all used to make these watery plant extracts feel more like real milk. For seniors with sensitive digestion, these gums can cause bloating, gas, and most importantly, they can interfere with the absorption of essential minerals like calcium and magnesium. But here's the real kicker. Most commercial plant milks contain synthetic calcium carbonate, the same type of calcium found in chalk and antacids. Your body struggles to absorb this synthetic form, especially without the cofactors naturally present in whole foods. It's like trying to use a key that almost fits the lock. It might go in, but it won't turn. The oat milk trend is particularly concerning for seniors. Most commercial oat milks are loaded with oat fiber that has been processed to the point where it can actually bind to minerals in your digestive tract and prevent their absorption. Plus, many oats are treated with glyphosate, a herbicide that has been linked to bone density issues in animal studies. Soy milk presents its own unique challenges for seniors. The phytoestrogens in processed soy can interfere with your body's natural hormone balance, which is already delicate in the post-menopausal years. For women especially, this can accelerate bone loss rather than prevent it. I remember Sarah, a 67-year-old patient who switched to commercial almond milk because her daughter convinced her it was healthier. Within 6 months, she developed persistent joint pain and her energy levels plummeted. When we examined her diet, we discovered she was getting almost no bioavailable calcium, despite drinking 2 glasses of calcium-fortified almond milk daily. The synthetic calcium wasn't being absorbed, and the inflammatory additives were actually making her feel worse. Dangerous milk type 4. Sweetened condensed milk, the silent bone destroyer hiding in your pantry. You might think, well, I don't drink sweetened condensed milk straight from the can. But if you're like most seniors, you're consuming this bone-destroying product more often than you realize. It's hiding in your coffee creamer, your baking recipes, your desserts, and even in some healthy protein shakes marketed to seniors. Sweetened condensed milk is essentially regular milk that has been concentrated and then loaded with sugar. Approximately 165 grams of sugar per cup. That's equivalent to eating 41 teaspoons of sugar in one sitting. For context, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugar per day for women and 9 for men. But the sugar content is just the tip of the iceberg. The process of making sweetened condensed milk involves heating regular milk to extremely high temperatures for extended periods. This heat treatment doesn't just concentrate the milk, it fundamentally changes the protein structure and destroys many of the beneficial enzymes that help your body process dairy products. For seniors whose digestive enzymes are already diminished due to natural aging, consuming these heat-damaged proteins can trigger inflammatory responses throughout the body. This inflammation specifically targets the cellular mechanisms responsible for bone formation and repair. The concentrated nature of sweetened condensed milk also means you're getting a massive dose of lactose in a very small serving. Most seniors have some degree of lactose intolerance, even if they don't realize it. The symptoms aren't always obvious digestive upset. Sometimes it manifests as joint stiffness, brain fog, or general inflammation that people attribute to just getting older. Here's something that will shock you. The manufacturing process for sweetened condensed milk often involves adding sodium phosphates as stabilizers. These phosphates bind to calcium in your digestive tract, making it unavailable for absorption. So, not only are you not getting useful calcium from this product, it's actually preventing you from absorbing calcium from other foods you eat at the same meal. The worst part? Many senior-friendly recipes and meal replacement products contain sweetened condensed milk because it adds calories and sweetness. Nursing homes and assisted living facilities often use it in their desserts and beverages, thinking they're providing comfort food. In reality, they're accelerating bone loss in the very population that needs bone protection the most. One of my patients, Robert, was adding what he thought was just a little sweetened condensed milk to his coffee twice a day. He had no idea that those two small additions were delivering more sugar than most people eat in an entire day. And the phosphates were blocking his calcium absorption from his morning calcium supplement. When we eliminated this hidden source of sugar and inflammatory additives, his chronic back pain improved dramatically within 3 weeks. Dangerous milk. Type 5. Powdered milk. The oxidized nightmare. Accelerating your aging. Powdered milk might seem like a convenient pantry staple, especially for seniors who want to ensure they always have milk on hand. But what most people don't realize is that powdered milk is one of the most nutritionally destructive forms of dairy you can consume, particularly devastating for aging bodies. The process of creating powdered milk involves spraying liquid milk through extremely hot air, temperatures reaching up to 390 degrees Fahrenheit. This intense heat doesn't just remove water. It fundamentally alters the molecular structure of the proteins and fats in ways that can be harmful to your health. Here's what happens during this high heat processing. The cholesterol in the milk becomes oxidized, creating what scientists call oxysterols. These oxidized cholesterol compounds are far more dangerous than regular cholesterol because they directly contribute to arterial inflammation and plaque formation. For seniors who are already at higher risk for cardiovascular disease, consuming oxidized cholesterol is like adding fuel to a fire, but the bone health implications are even more concerning. The high heat treatment destroys virtually all of the natural enzymes that help your body digest and absorb the nutrients in milk. Without these enzymes, your aging digestive system struggles to break down the damaged proteins, often triggering inflammatory responses that interfere with calcium absorption. The protein structure itself becomes so altered that it can actually trigger autoimmune responses in sensitive individuals. This is particularly problematic for seniors, whose immune systems are already working overtime to deal with the natural inflammatory processes of aging. Here's something truly alarming. Powdered milk has an extremely long shelf life, sometimes up to 20 years when stored properly. This longevity comes at a cost. The longer powdered milk sits, the more the fats continue to oxidize, creating an increasingly toxic product. Those emergency food supplies that many seniors keep in their pantries could be doing more harm than good. Many seniors unknowingly consume powdered milk in processed foods, protein powders marketed to older adults, and even in some calcium supplements. It's hidden in everything from instant puddings to senior nutrition drinks. The irony is heartbreaking. Products marketed specifically for senior health often contain ingredients that accelerate the very problems they claim to solve. I had a patient named Dorothy who was experiencing chronic fatigue and joint pain. She couldn't understand why she felt so much worse than her friends of the same age. When we reviewed her diet, we discovered she was drinking a senior nutrition shake twice daily that contained powdered milk as the primary ingredient. Within 2 weeks of switching to whole food alternatives, her energy levels improved dramatically and her joint pain decreased significantly. Dangerous milk type 6. Lactose-free milk with additives, the false solution loaded with chemicals. This might be the most deceptive milk type of all because it's specifically marketed to seniors who experience digestive discomfort with regular milk. On the surface, lactose-free milk seems like the perfect solution, but the reality is far more complicated and concerning. Most commercial lactose-free milk doesn't actually remove the lactose. It adds an enzyme called lactase to break down the lactose into simpler sugars. While this solves the immediate digestive issue, it creates a new problem. The resulting sugars, glucose and galactose, are absorbed much more rapidly than lactose, causing faster and higher blood sugar spikes. For seniors, who often have some degree of insulin resistance, these rapid sugar spikes can be particularly damaging. The inflammatory cascade triggered by these blood sugar fluctuations directly interferes with bone-building processes and can accelerate bone loss. But here's where it gets really concerning. To make lactose-free milk taste better and have a longer shelf life, manufacturers often add a cocktail of stabilizers, emulsifiers, and preservatives. Common additives include carrageenan, which we discussed earlier, dipotassium phosphate, sodium citrate, and vitamin palmitate. Dipotassium phosphate is particularly problematic for seniors. While it's added to improve texture, it can interfere with calcium absorption and has been linked to kidney stress in older adults whose kidney function is already naturally declining. Sodium citrate, used as a preservative, can affect the pH balance in your digestive tract. For seniors who already have reduced stomach acid production, this pH alteration can further impair the absorption of essential minerals like calcium, magnesium, and vitamin B12. The ultra-pasteurization process used for lactose-free milk is even more intense than regular pasteurization, involving temperatures up to 280 degrees Fahrenheit. This extreme heat treatment destroys beneficial compounds and creates the same oxidized proteins and fats we see in powdered milk. Many seniors also don't realize that the lactase enzyme added to these products is often derived from genetically modified yeast or fungi. While the FDA considers these enzymes safe, there's limited research on their long-term effects in older adults who may consume them daily for years. Perhaps most importantly, choosing lactose-free milk often prevents seniors from addressing the root cause of their lactose intolerance. In many cases, what appears to be lactose intolerance is actually a reaction to the inflammatory compounds created during pasteurization or an inability to digest the damaged proteins in conventional milk. I've worked with countless seniors who thought they needed lactose-free milk, only to discover they could tolerate raw, grass-fed milk or properly fermented dairy products with no issues. The problem wasn't the lactose, it was everything else that had been done to the milk during processing. Margaret, a 72-year-old patient, had been drinking lactose-free milk for 8 years because regular milk gave her digestive upset. But she still experienced bloating and low energy. When we switched her to small amounts of full-fat, minimally processed milk from grass-fed cows, her digestive issues disappeared entirely, and her bone density tests showed improvement for the first time in a decade. Dangerous milk. Type 7, shelf-stable. Milk boxes, the preservation problem that's poisoning your bones. Those convenient little milk boxes that don't need refrigeration until opened seem like a miracle of modern food technology. Many seniors keep them on hand for emergencies or convenience, thinking they're getting the same nutrition as fresh milk. But the ultra-high temperature, UHT, processing required to make milk shelf-stable transforms it into something your body barely recognizes as food. UHT processing involves heating milk to 280 302 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 to 5 seconds. While this kills all bacteria and gives the milk a shelf life of 6 to 9 months without refrigeration, it also destroys virtually every beneficial enzyme, denatures most proteins, and creates compounds that can actually be harmful to aging bodies. The extreme heat creates what scientists call Maillard reaction products, the same compounds that brown food when you cook it at high temperatures. While these compounds might be harmless in small amounts, consuming them regularly through UHT milk can contribute to inflammation and oxidative stress throughout your body. For seniors, this is particularly concerning because oxidative stress is already elevated due to natural aging processes. Adding more oxidative stress through processed foods accelerates cellular aging and interferes with your body's repair mechanisms, including bone formation. The protein damage from UHT processing is so severe that your immune system sometimes doesn't recognize these altered proteins as food. This can trigger inflammatory responses that not only interfere with nutrient absorption, but can also contribute to autoimmune-like reactions in sensitive individuals. The packaging itself presents another problem. These aseptic containers are lined with multiple layers of plastic and aluminum. Over time, especially when exposed to heat during transport or storage, these linings can leach chemicals into the milk. Some of these chemicals, like bisphenol A, BPA, and phthalates, are known endocrine disruptors that can interfere with hormone balance, critical for bone health in seniors. But perhaps most concerning is that UHT milk has virtually no beneficial bacteria. Fresh, minimally processed milk contains beneficial enzymes and compounds that support digestive health. When you eliminate these, you're left with a product that not only fails to nourish, but may actually burden your digestive system. Dangerous milk type 8. Artificial protein milk. The synthetic danger marketed as senior nutrition. This is the most insidious milk type because it's specifically marketed to seniors as a health product. These protein-enhanced milks promise to help maintain muscle mass and bone strength, but they're actually doing the opposite in many cases. These products typically combine conventional milk with synthetic protein isolates, usually whey protein isolate, casein protein isolate, or even plant protein isolates. The problem isn't protein itself, it's how these isolated proteins are processed and how they interact with aging bodies. Protein isolates are created through intensive chemical processing involving acids, alkalis, and high heat. This processing strips away the natural cofactors and amino acid profiles that make whole proteins beneficial. What you're left with is a concentrated but incomplete protein that your body struggles to utilize effectively. For seniors whose digestive capacity is already compromised, these isolated proteins can be particularly problematic. They require more energy to digest and often trigger inflammatory responses in sensitive individuals. The inflammation not only makes you feel worse, but actively interferes with bone formation. Many of these products also contain artificial sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, or acesulfame potassium to improve taste without adding sugar. While these sweeteners don't spike blood sugar, they can disrupt gut bacteria balance, crucial for seniors whose gut health is already compromised by aging and often multiple medications. The gut bacteria disruption has direct implications for bone health. Your gut bacteria play a crucial role in producing vitamin K2, which is essential for directing calcium to your bones rather than your arteries. When artificial sweeteners kill beneficial bacteria, you lose this natural vitamin K2 production. These products often contain thickeners like cellulose gum, xanthan gum, and modified food starch. While these aren't necessarily dangerous, they can interfere with mineral absorption and contribute to digestive upset in seniors with sensitive systems. Perhaps most concerning is the marketing deception. These products are often promoted with images of active, healthy seniors and claims about supporting bone health and muscle mass. But the reality is that the synthetic nature of these products makes them less bioavailable than whole food sources of protein and calcium. The amino acid profiles in these isolated proteins are often imbalanced compared to what your body actually needs for bone formation. Your bones require a specific combination of amino acids, minerals, and cofactors working together. When you consume isolated proteins, you're getting pieces of the puzzle without the complete picture. I've seen seniors who switched from real food to these enhanced products actually experience declining health markers. Their bodies were working harder to process these synthetic foods while getting less actual nutrition. It's like trying to build a house with incomplete blueprints and inferior materials. The tragedy is that many seniors choose these products because they want to be proactive about their health. They're willing to spend extra money and change their habits, but they're being misled by marketing that prioritizes profit over genuine health benefits. Now that you understand what's been working against your bone health, let me share the good news. There are incredible alternatives that will actually strengthen your bones, improve your energy, and support your body's natural healing processes. The bone-building alternatives that actually work. First choice, grass-fed, full-fat, minimally pasteurized milk. If you can tolerate dairy, this is the gold standard. Grass-fed milk contains up to 5 times more beneficial omega-3 fatty acids than conventional milk. The cows graze on nutrient-rich pastures, creating milk that's naturally higher in vitamin K2, the crucial vitamin that directs calcium to your bones. Full-fat milk provides the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K2 that are essential for calcium absorption. Without these vitamins, calcium supplements and low-fat dairy are largely useless. The fat also slows the absorption of milk sugars, preventing the inflammatory blood sugar spikes we discussed earlier. Look for milk that's labeled low-temperature pasteurized or VAT pasteurized. This gentler process preserves most of the beneficial enzymes while still ensuring safety. Many local dairies offer this type of milk, and it's increasingly available in health food stores. Second choice, traditional fermented dairy. Kefir, plain Greek yogurt from grass-fed sources, and aged cheeses are excellent options for seniors. The fermentation process pre-digests the proteins and creates beneficial probiotics that support gut health and nutrient absorption. Kefir is particularly beneficial because it contains multiple strains of beneficial bacteria and yeasts that can help restore gut balance disrupted by medications or poor diet. The fermentation also increases the bioavailability of calcium and other minerals. When choosing yogurt, avoid anything with added sugars or artificial ingredients. Plain, full-fat Greek yogurt from grass-fed sources provides concentrated protein and probiotics without the inflammatory additives. Third choice, homemade nut and seed milks. If you can't tolerate dairy, making your own plant-based milks gives you complete control over ingredients. Soak raw almonds, cashews, or hemp seeds overnight, then blend with filtered water and strain. This provides natural enzymes and healthy fats without the additives in commercial versions. Add a pinch of sea salt and a few dates for natural sweetness if desired. You can also add a tablespoon of tahini, sesame seed paste, for extra calcium in a highly absorbable form. Fourth choice, bone broth. While not technically milk, bone broth made from grass-fed bones provides bioavailable calcium, collagen, and amino acids that directly support bone formation. The long, slow cooking process extracts minerals from the bones and forms your body can easily use. Make bone broth in a slow cooker or pressure cooker using grass-fed beef or chicken bones, vegetables, and a splash of apple cider vinegar to help extract minerals. Drink it warm like tea or use it as a base for soups. Critical absorption. Enhancers for seniors. Simply choosing better milk isn't enough. You need to optimize your body's ability to use the nutrients you're consuming. Timing matters. Consume calcium-rich foods with vitamin C sources like bell peppers, broccoli, or a small amount of sauerkraut. Vitamin C significantly enhances calcium absorption. Avoid calcium blockers. Don't consume caffeine, alcohol, or high-sodium foods within 2 hours of calcium-rich meals. These can interfere with absorption or increase calcium excretion. Add magnesium. Take a magnesium supplement or eat magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds or dark leafy greens with your calcium sources. Magnesium is required for calcium to enter your bones. Get sun exposure. Vitamin D is crucial for calcium absorption. Spend 15 to 20 minutes in morning sunlight daily or consider a vitamin D3 supplement, especially during winter months. Weight-bearing exercise. Your bones need the stress of movement to stimulate new bone formation. Even gentle walking, gardening, or resistance exercises with light weights can help. Simple daily protocol for stronger bones. Morning. Start with a glass of filtered water with a squeeze of lemon to optimize digestion. Have your calcium-rich foods, grass-fed milk, kefir or bone broth with a vitamin C source. Afternoon. Take a short walk in the sunlight. Even 10 minutes helps with vitamin D production and bone stimulation. Evening. Have a magnesium-rich snack like a small handful of pumpkin seeds or a cup of herbal tea with a magnesium supplement. Foods to emphasize for bone health. Beyond better milk choices, focus on sardines or canned salmon with bones, dark leafy greens like collard greens and bok choy, sesame seeds and tahini, and fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and kimchi. These foods provide calcium in highly absorbable forms, along with the cofactors needed for bone formation. I want to leave you with something important. The choices you make today about what you put in your body will determine how you feel, how you move, and how independent you remain in the years to come. Every single day, you have the power to either support your body's natural healing processes or undermine them. The milk sitting in your refrigerator right now might seem like a small thing, but as we've discovered together, small choices compound over time. Those seemingly innocent daily habits, the chocolate milk with breakfast, the skim milk in your coffee, the protein shake you thought was helping, they've been working against you, drop by drop, day by day. But here's what I want you to remember. Your body is remarkably resilient. Even if you've been consuming these bone-damaging milk types for years, it's not too late to change course. I've seen patients in their 70s and 80s experience remarkable improvements in their bone density, energy levels, and overall vitality simply by making smarter choices about what they drink and eat. Think about what this means for your future. Imagine waking up with less joint stiffness, having the confidence to walk downstairs without fear, being able to play with grandchildren without worrying about falls or fractures. Picture yourself maintaining your independence, staying in your own home, and enjoying activities you love for years to come. This isn't just about bones, it's about freedom. It's about dignity. It's about refusing to accept that aging means becoming weak and dependent. The 3 milk types we discussed today, flavored milk, skim milk, ultra-processed plant milk, sweetened condensed milk, powdered milk, lactose-free milk with additives, shelf-stable milk boxes, and artificial protein milk, they're not just failing to nourish you, they're actively working against your health goals. But now you know better, and knowing better means you can do better. Start small. You don't have to change everything overnight. Pick one dangerous milk type that you're currently consuming and replace it with one of our bone-building alternatives. Maybe it's switching from that morning chocolate milk to homemade kefir. Maybe it's replacing your evening protein shake with a warm cup of bone broth. Whatever feels manageable for you, pay attention to how you feel. Notice if your joint stiffness decreases. Observe whether you have more energy. Watch for improvements in your sleep quality. Your body will tell you when you're making the right choices. I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me which of these dangerous milk types surprised you the most. Share which bone-building alternative you're most excited to try. Your story matters, and it might inspire someone else to make the changes they need for their health. If this video has opened your eyes to the hidden dangers in common foods, please hit that like button. Share this with friends and family members who need this information. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell because we're committed to bringing you the truth about nutrition for seniors, even when that truth goes against conventional wisdom. Remember, the food industry profits when you stay confused about what's actually healthy. They benefit when you choose convenient processed options over real, nourishing foods. But you have the power to take control of your health, one choice at a time. Your bones are counting on you. Your future self is counting on you. You deserve to feel strong, vibrant, and confident in your body, regardless of your age. The information you learned today is your first step toward making that a reality. Before you go, I want you to make a commitment. Choose one change you're going to make this week based on what you've learned. Write it down, tell someone about it, make it real. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment, and your health is far too important for that. Stay strong, stay curious, and remember, aging is inevitable, but feeling old is optional. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue this journey toward optimal health and vitality in your golden years. Thank you for trusting me with your health, and thank you for being part of our community of seniors who refuse to settle for anything less than their best life.